to the High Vibe Show, Livin the High Vibe Life with me, your host, Elisa V. And together with my guests, experts in the art of living in a state of high vibration, we have got an amazing show for you today. My passion is to educate and inspire you to raise your frequency to a high vibrational state. Whether you're an awakened soul to the power of your own consciousness as a light being, or you're new to this spiritual path of expansion and growth, which is made possible through vibrating at a high level, you are in the right place. So stay here to experience fun, frequency upgrades now, so you can manifest all you want and help to raise the collective vibration of our wonderful world. Let's hit the restart button and high vibe it together. The High Vibe Show starts now. Hey everyone, welcome to the High Vibe Show. I'm your host, the Queen of High Vibe, Elisa V, and have we got a great show for you today. I'm so glad that today that we're going to bring you the 5th episode in our 10-part series entitled Secrets to High Vibe Wellness. And in this series, Dr. Pat has teamed up with me, and we are going to be sharing the secrets for embracing an empowered mindset and effective techniques for being the creator of well-being in all dimensions of your life. If you haven't seen our past 4 episodes, I highly encourage you to check it out here on Transformation Talk Radio Network. So today, our 5th episode in this series, entitled High Vibe Low Cost Healthcare Coverage Alternatives, we are going to dive into the crazy world of healthcare. We know that healthcare coverage costs have become exorbitant and almost prohibitive. So additionally, there are so many restrictions that prevent us from going to the providers that we want. And today, our very special guest, in addition to Dr. Pat, is Dr. Randi Shannon, naturopath. And she is going to tell us about an alternative to what we've been told is our only option with healthcare coverage. So welcome, Dr. Pat and Dr. Randi.
Yeah, I can't wait for this, Dr. Randi. I am fired up.
Great. I'm so happy to be here. You don't always get to get on the shows and talk about something amazing. A lot of the themes these days are really negative, because that definitely grabs our attention. It's like bombarding the news, but this is actually great news. And it's in an industry that's never, ever been disrupted. So this is why I'm attaching my name. And even though I am a naturopathic doctor and I work completely full-time, it's like I took on a second career, and I'm actually loving every minute of it. So I'm going to be excited to tell you guys all about it.
Yeah. And if you wouldn't mind, I just want to take a minute to tell our listeners again about your illustrious background. So Dr. Randi is the founder of thebodycan.com. And she empowers individuals to take charge of their health and well-being, making a positive difference in the world. She has over 20 years of experience in nutrition, longevity, anti-aging, and stress-related health issues. Dr. Randi is recognized as an authority in natural health, and her extensive research and practice in addressing over 1,000 so-called incurable conditions has equipped her with deep knowledge and expertise. Dr. Randi Shannon's unique expertise lies in her face, tongue, and fingernail analysis, a technique that provides an accurate insight into a person's systemic and physical health. So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. You know, let me just paraphrase and just put something out there. Why is this so important? In 2004, on April 1st, I came down with a mystery disease. I was independent, no company to pay for my health care, state of Washington, independent healthcare services. And thank goodness that I happened to find Dr. Nushin Darvish, another naturopath, because we now live in a world where it's not a one-size-fits-all. And understanding something so vitally important and so ancient, if we don't speak up about it, coupled with the fact that we need to speak up about having insurance that people can afford, we're not going to move the needle. And that's why I'm so glad that you're here to talk about all of the above.
Outstanding. Yeah, if we don't talk about it, it's a lost art. It literally is. And it's what's called 5,000-year-old original medicine. So the system today would love to label someone like me as alternative, but I got news for them. What I do, looking at faces, fingernails, and tongues, other marks of concern on the body, has been around long before they were even a thought. So, my system, it works. And it's really not that expensive, because even when I do it for a client, nobody has to come see me in person. That's the beautiful part about it. They send me pictures, and then I just blow them up, look at them, and then I can see what's going on in the organs of the body. And people might be like, that is crazy. Well, okay, take a tree, cut it in half. You can see the rings, and you can see what happened in the life of the tree. Fire, pestilence, flood, whatever it was exposed to, it's right there. How are we any different? And we wear it in our face, our fingernails, our tongue, and other marks of concern on the body. Things don't just show up if you're totally healthy. The lines everybody thinks are wrinkles when they go to get Botox and things like that, they're covering up the evidence, or the scene of the crime, is how I call it. So yeah. And healthcare, with your mystery illness, I'm glad your naturopath was able to help you, because we have that old time knowledge. And it's a dying breed, but yet with what's happened in our nation and actually around the world, because my clients are in 18 countries and all 50 states. Yeah. So and they're not coming to me. It's all through the computer, all through the phone. We can see what's going on, and we can get remedy together. We do it together.
Yeah, I want to thank you, because we did a previous show with Dr. Rani up in Martha's Vineyard, Dr. Darvish as well, because what we don't talk about is the courage that you all have to be who you are. And I want to thank you for being courageous and outrageous at the same time, because your courage and most of our outrage, especially over the past 4 or 5 years. Now, for me, we got to discover what was going on. And even to this day, we cannot get proper funding for it. I had what they call 4-stage Lyme disease, a form of chronic Lyme disease that is basically, you can't even get a test in my state. So I want to thank you. I don't want to take any more time, because I want to get to the most important thing. And that's, even if you find the great doctor, can you actually get coverage that works for you?
Yeah. And I want to just, kind of highlight this, because we're coming around to the time where, it's enrollment, right? We're coming around to that time. So this is so apropos that we're talking about it now, because I think people are going to be in for a huge, unfortunate surprise when they see how the rates have gone up with a lot of the traditional insurance companies. So if it's okay, Dr. Randi, I was hoping that you could just give a few statistics, on what's going on in the industry of insurance and how that's affecting people today.
Well, number one, it's that unforeseen circumstance like Dr. Pat had, that maybe back then even it was still unaffordable, but affordable. Today it's completely unaffordable. And in 2019, they said something like 59% of the bankruptcies that were declared were from medical, like they cited a medical instance.
That's correct.
Unforeseen circumstance. So our medical system is putting people in bankruptcy. And then you mentioned people are going to be in for a rude awakening. We are coming into open enrollment, which is where people have choices to get out of that group that they're in. For example, one of my sons worked for Yelp. He was the #1 sales agent in March. They were trying to take $500 a month out of his paycheck. He's just a young man, 34, 35. And he opted out of that and came to us, and we got him for about $114 a month. So a young person, most of them 35 and down, that population just walks around with no coverage.
Yeah, we have a big strike going on right here in Washington State. And I play table tennis, a sport, so I play with these people, Boeing, the unions at Boeing, and I have watched what has happened to the unions at Boeing, chipping away at their health care to the point where they don't really have an option. So they're going to be listening to this show because I was telling them that there are options and alternatives because they're not going to pay for your stuff. So what are you going to do?
And they're going to be taking upwards of 20% more on this next go round with open enrollment.
Wow.
And, you know, a lot of times I'll hear, well, you know, it's coming out of my spouse's paycheck. Okay, but you're going to lose, his paycheck's going to shrink up because they are going up. And the company that I'm with now, that, you know, I promote to all of my clients and really to podcasters, influencers, people definitely like you guys, they see it and they're taking it to the masses. And, you know, we're saving people. I had a doctor who's got a $2.5 million or 2.5 million people platform on YouTube. And he was laughing when I shared this. And I said, what's so funny? And he was laughing out of absolute joy because he said, I am going to save $24,000 a year on this plan. Wow. Who doesn't want that back on the table?
Yeah. Yeah. And are we allowed to talk about are we allowed to name the organization in the show? Can we tell people what we're talking about here?
Yeah, I'm going to let Dr. Randi go, but, you know, my own personal testimony, I actually heard you speaking and you know, here I was in a situation where I'm paying almost $2,000 a month and it's prohibitive. You know, I'm like, every month. And so when I spoke to you, I was just like, what, you got to talk to me about this. And I think, you know, when all is said and done, right, I'm paying $697 now for a family of 3. And yeah, so just we don't have a lot of time for this show. So I want you to talk now about the company and about, you know, the program, et cetera.
Yeah. And I know for the listeners, the link is going to be there because there is specific steps. You want to click the link that is given, okay? So that we can somewhat control and help and make sure that it's done and done right. And we're not licensed insurance agents. And the beautiful thing is we don't have to be. This eliminates that. That's a huge cost. And, you know, we're saving our clients on average 30 to 70% every single month. With traditional insurance, it's a dinosaur, okay? It's a $4.6 trillion dinosaur. And in America, there's about 300 million insured people. 260 million of them are with Blue Cross Blue Shield. 100% of the time that I had a client come over from them, we saved 70 to 90% back in their pocket. They have a deductible per family member. That's a ripoff. We have it for the whole household and only one. And it's as low as $2,500 a month. That's the deductible, okay? And then with them, you have to choose within their doctors, their networks. In 2015, I had a friend diagnosed. He was in another state, diagnosed with cancer. He wanted to come to Florida for a doctor here. He was denied. It was the best doctor for what he had in particular, and he was denied. 8 months later, he passed away. That is a travesty. This is America, and we do have choices. And so with our company, you're not in a network. If you feel like using a heart doctor, let's say in Florida, and you're in Washington State, because you found this doctor and you really think he's the best, great, go get on his calendar. We have no network restrictions whatsoever. You don't have to stay in a group. You don't have to stay with certain physicians. There's really not much wait time either, unless that doctor in Florida that you found has a super wait. And here's the thing. If a doctor is really, really good and he's highly sought after and he's known for what he does, he may have the wait, but we don't have any kind of weight restrictions or anything like that. And then when it comes to the copay or the co-share, we're just a flat 10%, whereas the bigger companies are between 20 and 30%. They have no cap either. So it means that you'll pay it and pay it and pay it forever. With us, we have a cap, so it ends, okay? And then we also throw in 24/7 telehealth. So, you know, when the lockdowns happened, let's say, a lot of people didn't want to go sit in a waiting room and be exposed to anything. But their companies didn't have any kind of telemedicine. You were forced to go or stay at home and get nothing. With this, with us, we have 24/7 telehealth. So if you feel like staying in bed, you don't want to be exposed to whatever's in that waiting room, great. You just go on our website, and within minutes to, at worst case I've ever seen, an hour, and that's just because the medical doctors were backed up. You had a doctor on the phone and you got to stay right where you were. So that was beautiful. And there's no extra cost. We just throw that into the plan. And anybody who gets started with us now, between now and the end of the month, we actually have dental and vision that was just thrown in, no extra cost to our clients. And in fact, we haven't raised our prices in 5 years. The ones that everybody else is with, the big five, they raise them every year. We haven't had a price hike at all. Nothing's changed in 5 years. So, and the beautiful thing is there is a referral partner division of this. So if somebody wants to refer this to their clients, they can, and the company will give you a kickback for that. Kickback's the wrong word, but they pay you very well. Okay. So if somebody's coming in, I know snowbirds come to America. If they have a USA address, let's say they don't have a social, then they just have to have an ITIN and a government issued ID, and they can actually be covered. And then emergencies is a big deal. Let's say I'm on vacation in Italy and something bad happens. I'm going to be covered. I might have to take care of it while I'm in Italy, but I come back and I can submit that. Okay. I can't live in Italy and just go get my physical. It's not like that. It's an American product made in America, true grassroots. The owner is Phil Chrysler. The company is Impact Health, but you're going to want to go to the link that is provided, because that's going to get you that one-on-one attention. It's going to be able to answer questions, and you're not going to be in the dark and left alone. You want somebody to hold your hand, and this is where that gets done. Did you have anything you wanted to ask me on those things?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, because you're talking about freedom of being able to go to whatever doctor you want to go to, wherever that doctor is, not bound by state lines. And you're also talking about saving money. That's what initially really appealed to me the most, obviously, right? We're all struggling to figure out how to make ends meet in one way or another. But what I love is this idea that, we've all had that situation where you call and it's like, oh, the doctor's not on the network. Oh, you can't use this person. Oh, you have to use that person. I mean, and who wants to do that? You want to go where you want to go. You want to be able to be treated by the best, or at least who you want. Sometimes, God willing, you're healthy and you don't have a problem, but you want to go to who you want to go to. You want someone dictating. So I think those are very important things. The other thing, Dr. Randi, can you speak to this idea of what we call alternative, and how Impact, relates to doctors that are not your typical.
Yeah. And let's be very clear. We stopped using the term alternative for a network, 17 years ago. And we label ourselves, and we have been called the new, this is really what we've been called, Dr. Randi. So to your point, the new mainstream in media, and anything we do on medical, wellness, healthcare, we call it the new mainstream. Love in it. Healing, the new mainstream, because that term alternative is not us. I can talk over here about something very like today, but then over here, I can reference a Marvel movie. You see, we're not all in this bucket. And I think that's what you've been battling, right?
Oh, yeah. No, it's been terrible. Never in the entirety of my career have I ever pushed anybody over to the big system. Never. And now, and here's why I'm okay with certain aspects of it. So for example, this company actually embraces and encourages you to be healthy. So that opens my eyes. I love that. So they have something called a health and wholeness credit. So if you have a deductible, PRA is what we actually call it over here, primary responsibility amount. It's the same basically as a deductible. So I'm a very healthy 56-year-old. My supplementation has been my insurance plan, because I priced out with Blue Cross, years ago and again recently, and several other of the big companies, and they wanted between $750 and $1150 a month for just me. Very healthy. Don't smoke, don't really take, I'm not jumping out of planes on a regular basis once in a while, etc. And they also ask, how much money do you make? We don't do that at this company. I don't think it's their business, okay? Not their business. If I make more, I'm going to get zapped, is the point. With us, all we ask for is the date of birth of the oldest person in the household, a much more fair system. And then when it comes to this health and wholeness credit, if I go to the gym, if I take my supplements, if I have a Peloton subscription, or I'm drinking mushroom coffee, whatever, essential oils, Reiki, go get a massage, they will give me up to $100 every single month off of my deductible.
Wow.
So they're encouraging us to actually embrace the healthy and be healthier.
Yeah. Does that include, let's just talk about CBD. I refer to it as CBD, but now it's a much bigger industry now. All of the CBD, let me just call them CBD solutions, we were never allowed to touch. Marijuana is illegal here, that.
Yeah.
But we also know the ancient healing power of that
whole
plant.
body needs CBD. It does.
Okay. But these are the things we're talking about that we have been restrictive. And, by the way, I was that person in 2005 that had enormous bills and a $2,000 a month insurance policy. So I know what you're talking about. I needed more things, and that's what people need, because we can't second guess what's going to happen. Isn't that what you're saying? It gives us more flexibility to look at what options we want.
Exactly. And so if we just use me as an example and what I was priced with those other companies, and then with this company, I'm paying, are you ready? $150 a month. And I can deduct up to $100 a month, even with CBD, which I should be taking it on a regular basis. I like the clean organic CBD. It's a tincture basically.
Me too.
And and every cell in the body needs it, and it's not going to get you high. That's not what it does. It has other things in it that every cell in the body actually responds to in a very positive, healing way. So people have a misconception about that. I've done a whole show on that and really broke it down with a pharmacist. And he gives you the whole scientific background of that. So yes, it would be deducted. You can deduct that and a whole host, anything that's healthy. They say, give us the receipts. And unless it's some weird off the wall, they don't believe it, kind of thing. But they want to give you that credit big time.
Which is I love it. I love that you're doing this, because I want people to ask questions, and they can ask you. They can get a hold of you, and they could say, you know what, I've got this electric light therapy. Oh, wait a minute, I'm getting ozone treatment. Oh, wait a minute, my doctor, compound ivermectin, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we've learned so much, haven't we, going through a 4 years pandemic.
So, Dr. Randi, I just want to clarify something. So clearly, depending on, people are all different. People have different views and different, positions and needs, et cetera. So I know you said that certain things that are out there that are being treated or, included in the insurance are not necessarily included in what each person is paying for. But does that mean that Impact still covers those things? In other words, it's your choice in terms of if you, had an abortion or something, I'm just thinking in terms of people.
Okay, so the way this works is it's a health care share program. Okay, so in their guidelines, and they lay it all out so nobody has any questions, and they also do an onboarding 15-minute on average call with the clients, or even if you're just asking questions in advance, they will do that question and answer with you. And so, it's all in the guidelines. However, they will verbally tell you as well. So let's say, I go to the bar and I have a major binger, I think is what they're bender. They're called benders. You can tell I don't do that.
I don't drink either, but I got the word.
Yeah. So if I do that and then I go out and get into an accident and I, kill a few people, that's not shareable. Okay, so that's a different thing.
Yeah.
This is about healthcare. This isn't about picking up dereliction.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So this is all about healthcare. Now, let's say somebody has a heart attack 2 years ago. We do have something called a 36-month look back. All companies do, all of them. It's for the protection of the company.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have to be, 3 years out or 36 months out. And then let's say they have another heart attack, then they're going to cover their deductible. They've already been paying their monthly payment. If the deductible is met, then that's when the copay kicks in at 10%. Okay. That's normal. That's all normal procedure. And the rest of that bill is shared within the community. And the community is so healthy. That's why they're now adding dental and vision. There's so much extra in the coffers. And here's a major difference between us and insurance companies. We're a healthcare share. We're a 501c3 not for profit.
Yep.
And so when a bill comes in, it is negotiated down to what we call fair market value. We've had $540,000 bills with $520,000 completely shaved off. That was the pork. Okay. And so then what was left was $20,000, give or take. They paid their deductible, and actually I think in that one, I don't think they even met the deductible. And then the rest was shared into the community. That particular guy had a $5,000 deductible, but after it was repriced, he wasn't even responsible for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what you're doing is you're really taking a look at the landscape out there as a community, but then you're also customizing for an individual person's needs.
That's it.
Well, thank you so much for joining today, Dr. Pat. Thank you. You can always follow Dr. Pat on the Dr. Pat Show. She has a lot of other shows. Go to Transformation Talk Radio Network and you'll see everything, the full lineup. Dr. Randi, thank you so much for being here today, sharing your knowledge and information about Impact Health. If you'd like to get in touch with Dr. Randi, please do so by going to her website, thebodycan.com, or you can call at 844-275-1056. And if you're looking for high vibe coaching, you know how to reach out to me. That's at hittingtherestartbutton@gmail.com. I encourage you to keep your vibe high, thrive high, and of course, remember that the way to live a high vibe life is to be in the energy of love, abundance, and gratitude. Till next time. You've been listening to The High Vibe Show, Living the High Vibe Life. I'm your host, Elisa V, the Queen of High Vibe. Join us every first and third Monday of the month at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. This is the place to come for you to have loads of fun, frequency upgrades now, and have great guests to hear all about raising your frequency. For more information, visit hittingtherestartbutton.com. See you next time.